Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everybody's doing well and having a great day. Welcome back to another live stream, PM edition. I've got a lot of things to share with you guys in this video. We're going to try to, in this video, connect some dots. We've been waiting on the large sunspot complex to turn towards the Earth. Solar activity is increasing. And here's another look at looks like a newer sunspot in active regions turning towards the Earth right now as I do this video. The gray side is the Earth-facing side of the sun. This is the sun, by the way, we're looking at. The gold is the back side of the sun. So we do have a new set of sunspots turning towards the Earth. Also in this video, we're going to talk about airplanes and helicopters. Just in the last 48 hours, whoops, there's another email. Keep them coming, guys, appreciate that. Just in the last 48 hours, there have been 4 incidents in the eastern and western hemisphere. We're going to talk about those here in just a moment. Also, a major flash update. I know we've been talking about that, but I have something very, very intriguing. Got UVs, temperatures, hurricane update. We're going to start off with, though, we're going to Alton, Illinois. This gentleman, that was in northern Arizona, an issue in northern Arizona. Alton, Illinois, that one right there is over in Ghana. We're going to get to Alton right here. Gentleman sees a helicopter. This is unbelievable. Let me let you listen to his story. He was incredibly shaken after what he witnessed. He even said what he saw didn't even compare to anything he had ever seen in a movie. I mean, that's how wild this situation was. And this occurred in southern Missouri, above the Mississippi River. Listen to what this gentleman has to say. He's the eyewitness, one of the main eyewitnesses that saw this incident unfold. A helicopter basically just dropped out of the sky, but he explains what happened.
I mean, it just, when it hit, it was a split second. It didn't wrap up, it didn't do anything. As soon as it touched it, it was just explosion. It was just gone. And it was a white helicopter, and when it hit, there was no white helicopter anymore. It was just a fireball.
You ever seen anything like that, even in movies?
Movies, but it don't look like that in a movie. I mean, the movies, you know, they're more dramatic. You can see the helicopter. This was instantaneously, and within 10 seconds, it was in the air, and it was landing on that barge.
He said it was instantaneously, the helicopter basically disintegrated in less than a second. Apparently, this high wire over here, see the power line? There's a series of power lines over there. The helicopter somehow, he said, just touched it. Barely touched it. They were over there actually working on the wires over there. And I guess that's not necessarily uncommon. And it landed on right there, that barge right there. The helicopter landed on a barge in the Mississippi River. Like the gentleman said, he had never seen anything like it in his entire life, and he hoped he'd never see anything like it again. Right there's the barge down there at the bottom. Landed on the barge. Obviously, everybody on board perished. It's not a good situation. That was the third, I think, of 4 incidents that have occurred around the world. There was another helicopter incident over in Ghana. Ministers of Defense and Environment over there. These were some of their officials from the country. The helicopter went down in this remote area right here. You can see some photos of people looking through the debris. Right there is where the helicopter went down. And that was on the 6th. The helicopter over here in the Mississippi River area, that would be down around St. Louis, Missouri, Alton. That occurred on the 7th. This situation here occurred on the 8th. So in 48 hours, again, we have airplanes and helicopters dealing with some issues. 6 people in Nairobi. This was an airplane that unfortunately landed in the middle of a residential area. We've seen that multiple times this year, and it's just very sad. And here's another airplane incident in northeastern Arizona, and this is what's left of the airplane. Very sad situation. It too, for unknown reasons, came down out of the sky. So we've seen a trend of this type of activity in the northern hemisphere just in 2025 alone. I think there's been more in the first half of 2025, and we're in obviously August, than I can remember all of 2024. all of 2024. And could it be related to possible cosmic ray spikes? That's what you're looking at right here. Cosmic rays, like this here, it's up over the 10,000 range. The graph isn't even configured to go up to 10,000. But it was on the 26th into the 27th, and it occurred again yesterday. This is at the Bartol Cosmic Rating or Cosmic Rays facility. They have an instrument that measures and looks for cosmic rays, neutrons, and that's what happened here in the Nain, Labrador area on the 26th into the 27th, going into the 27th. And it also occurred yesterday. So there have been two major spikes in cosmic rays in the last week. One just prior to the 8.8 magnitude earthquake over in the Western Pacific off the coast of Kamchatka. Is it all tied into something that we've been talking about for a while now? I've got a huge update to share with you guys that involves these highly unusual flashing lights that people have been seeing all around the world. I've shared hundreds and hundreds of examples of these with you guys. This is going to tie into something even bigger. This is a new video that I just received yesterday. Here's another video by Chris Lawless out of Greenville, South Carolina. He sent that in yesterday as well. That's the second video that he sent in to me from two different locations, South Carolina and Phoenix. Betty out of Lake City, Florida. Same scenario, another rogue and random flashing light. Here's another rogue and random flashing light. Gentleman sitting at an intersection. Not sure of the location, but he said it had never done that before in the past. This one here is a classic. And then we're going to get to the brand new one that's actually quite shocking. This is shocking in itself. Gentlemen, I believe this was up in Michigan. Came up on a car lot full of Teslas. This wasn't a key fob convention where people were standing around seeing if their key fobs worked. As you can see, there wasn't anybody there. But these acres of cars, these were Teslas, probably a couple of hundred. Most of the Teslas, I think there were a few, if you look real close, that weren't blinking. The front lights, the front and back lights were all blinking on almost all of these cars. This man, Maximilian, was so surprised, he took time out of his day to record all of these cars because they were behaving so oddly. And you can see, if you look real close, let me back it up right there. There was a truck sitting right there. That tells you there was nobody there. This driver was waiting on somebody to get there to deliver more vehicles. And I was looking at the vehicles on that truck. They weren't on the ground and they weren't flashing. All the vehicles on the ground were flashing. This was one of the most bizarre examples of this phenomena that I think we've seen so far in the last 8 months. So it just goes on and on and on. There were Teslas galore, and we've seen the lights turn purple. Now we've got something brand new going on. Check this out. This is actually quite shocking. Speaking of shocking, here we go. This is a brand new version of the flashing lights. These lights literally went up in smoke. Check this out. China 7/24 of 2025. Are you serious right now? Watch what happens. The light fell off the pole. They're smoldering. You're going to see another one here that kind of just burst into flames. Some of them look like, these here look like they may be solar powered. I don't know exactly all of the details. I tried to do some research on this and I found out that yes, this did occur, and I believe it occurred over in China. Maybe there's something new, maybe they're experimental, but those were obviously street lights. Obviously this occurred during the daytime, but something went south with those real quick. So is it related to what we're seeing all over the world with regard to the flashing light phenomena? This is obviously something much more extreme, but maybe aviation electronics or every once in a while, experiences. I don't know. We're just trying to think outside the box here. But all of those, not just one or two, all of those on both sides of the road were experiencing some sort of, technical issues. Why not just one or two, maybe three, or maybe just one side of the road, both sides of the road? So that tells you that the entire circuit, wherever the circuit was at, was contaminated. something contaminated it. It wasn't working right. That was one of the most shocking I think I've seen so far. And we've been seeing these now since November of 2025. Speaking of shocking, those of you that like to keep up with the UV, I've got some temperature readings to share with you guys. Ground level, I took some readings yesterday afternoon, but it was just unbelievably hot. These are the UV readings from Abbotsford, British Columbia, 2.34. Darren was dealing with wildfire smoke, rain, and some clouds. Here's a look at his skies up at the 50-degree north latitude, coming down here to Phoenix, Arizona at around the 33-degree north latitude. Different story down here. We were dealing with, that's considered very high UV. Down here in the Phoenix area, the skies were clear. Over on the right is UVC, which really shouldn't be measuring any, but that's considered a trace amount. So as long as we stay at that particular number, that's kind of where it's always been at peak summer. The other number over the UVAB right over here on the left, you can see my maximum number was a 10.81. And today's high was an 11. So it was right around where it was supposed to be. When I took the reading, the temperature was 112. And here's some surface temperatures that you're going to find quite shocking. Hey, Margaret, thank you for the super chat. And thank you for the comment. China suffering intense hot weather. You know, you're right. And so is Japan. We talked about Japan setting records, 97. Check this out. Here's some ground surface temperature readings just on various things yesterday. This is the pavement at right around noon. And I took readings again at 2 hours later. It was just so hot, you didn't even want to be outside. Here's some readings at 2 p.m. Look at that. I know it's a little tough to read because it was bright and I was trying to hold the phone, and it was just a whole thing. And plus it was hot. I was measuring, what was I measuring here? 165. Here I'm measuring the windshield of the car, the visor. This car here was insanely hot. Check this out. I think I paused it on the high temperature. I think right there it was around 176. Check this out where I stop it. Yeah, right there. Let me pause it. 174 degrees. And that was on the surface of our car where the wipers are at. That black, of course, black is going to get hotter, right? We all know that. That was at 2 o'clock. It probably got hotter. If I went out there at 4 o'clock, 3:30 and took measurement, there's a steady 172. I mean, when you cook meat, certain kinds of meat, the internal temperature only has to be 165 for it to be considered done. 172? Whoa, that was hot. I mean, it was hot, hot, hot. This is I don't know, I think I was measuring the driveway or something there, 160, 161, which again, the interior temperature of some meats only has to be 165. I'm measuring the bushes right there, almost 110. I don't know how they survive the intense heat without, just literally going instantly dehydrated. The sidewalk was 144. And again, those temperatures were around noon. I'll do that again one of these days. It was super hot again today. You really don't even want to be outside. I mean, when black is pulling, and we all know black compared to white, black gets hotter in the direct sunlight. And there's a prime example. My gosh, it was unbelievably hot. Oh, boy. I want to share with you guys, I have a hurricane update, and here's what we're looking at. Over here in the Atlantic Ocean, I promised you guys at the beginning of hurricane season I would stay on top of this, and I'm going to keep my word. In the Atlantic Ocean, right at the moment, there may be something brewing, and I don't know how. We'll have to wait and see how this unfolds. There's nothing going on in the Caribbean, nothing in the Gulf at the time being. However, in the next few days, we could see a storm out here form way out in the middle of the Atlantic. Again, I don't know how this is going to happen, but we'll see. It could become a Category 4. There are some models showing this thing potentially making landfall right around the 20th. So this is just inside the 2-week mark. But there you go, 943, central low pressure. That would be in the Category 4 range, potentially. But this is a forecast. a long range forecast that can and will change. But right now, today, it's showing a landfall basically around Myrtle Beach. Will this materialize? Again, we'll have to wait and see. But that's a big storm that could make a big impact along the east coast of the United States. Looking at we'll step it forward a little bit more, and it's showing right now, and again, this is going to change, it's showing a potential landfall along the outer banks of North Carolina. The other model was showing a potential landfall, and again, this is all potential, landfall in the Myrtle Beach area a little farther south. As a strong, at one time, Category 4, Category 3. Either way, most models are showing this thing intensifying to a potential major hurricane. So this is an area we're watching very closely. We've got a situation up here in the north central Atlantic that's obviously we call these fish storms. It's not going to come anywhere near land. It may bring some rain to our friends over in Ireland, our friend Graham, and who's actually in Scotland. They may see a little bit of rain from that storm. This one here might make landfall and then get pulled off to the north, and it too could be a bit of a rainmaker over in the northern Atlantic, Ireland, Scotland. We'll have to wait and see. But that's something that again, we are watching very, very closely. We're watching the summit of mountRainier very, very closely as well. 1,333 earthquakes at the summit of mountRainier at 14,000 feet. The number keeps growing every day. Every time we look at this number, it gets a little bit bigger. Those are earthquakes at the summit of mountRainier. Is it getting ready to erupt? Don't know. We're watching, sitting on the edge of our seats. There have been earthquakes popping off all around the world. There was just a 5.2 over here, and actually it's been downgraded to a 5.0 over here where the 8.8 was at. So the earthquakes are still swarming over there, not as intense as they were, but they're still occurring over here in this massive swarm. The earthquakes are just piled up on top of each other. Those go back just 7 days. There's actually been more earthquake activity over there. This only shows the last 7 days. There's probably been hundreds of earthquakes in that area, and they continue. Do we have any new earthquakes out east? Yes, we do. Just a quick mention. This is an oddball earthquake up here in eastern Maine. Are you serious? Why is there an earthquake in eastern Maine? That is just so unusual. It's like seeing a penguin in Phoenix. Go figure, man. And looks like another earthquake in northern New Jersey. That's a small one. Yes, that's very, very small. I mean, I'm surprised that was even detected, but it was 0.4. Good grief, that's small. But it was detected by the instruments. Those instruments are definitely configured to measure earthquakes, and that is definitely a small one. You guys are in for a treat today. Check this out. Oh my, here we go. Wild and crazy skies, and they just keep getting wilder. Hold on, wait a minute. I got the UV, the major flash. Okay, I got Australia. I wanted to do a sky analysis real quick. This is for my one of my star family members, and if you ask, I'll do it for you. You got it. You want an analysis? Star family members, definitely. You got my attention. Lake Como, Italy. Shelley. Lake Como, by the way, is a beautiful place. Wow. They caught this in the sky. This doesn't appear to be a reflection. She saw this in the sky, just took a picture. They don't, if they were reflections of some sort, this was something strange above Lake Como. At least it looks that way to me and her. They don't look identical. If they were reflections of some sort, they would be perfectly identical, or at least for the most part. Something odd above Lake Como in Italy. Here I just did a simple inversion, and you can see they're even different shapes, whatever they were. They were vertical. The one on the far left was semi-vertical. So something unusual above Lake Como. Here it is in this format here tells us if there was something physical in the sky. And according to this, there was indeed something physical that looked out of place. They said they didn't appear to be drones and were making any noise. They obviously weren't helicopters or airplanes. So what were they? More strangeness in the skies above planet Earth. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. All you got to do is go outside and look around. It's there every single day. The big solar storm came through today, guys, and there was a tiny CME, and I'm surprised, to be honest with you, that it did interact with the Earth, because it was a, I mean, 60-40 chance, 60 being chances that it would miss the Earth. I've seen some that were coming directly at Earth, and you just knew they were going to impact the Earth, and they didn't. This one here, it was a small M-class solar flare that did have an accompanied CME. The CME did arrive today, and it created a brief 3-hour-long G1 geomagnetic storm. And yes, there were shock waves that went through the entire solar system, not just the Earth. And I'll show you guys the planetary K index, and we'll see that actually there were 2 spikes. So the cloud, that shows you the cloud density when it arrived here at 1200 and lasted through 1500. It dissipated. This means the density was thinner between 15 and 1800. The density thickened back up between 18 and 21, and then it dissipated and it is currently past the Earth. In fact, if we look at the Parker spiral, which is right here, this shows us incoming CMEs that could create potential solar storms. And here it comes right here. The green dot is the Earth. I mean, just barely. And if you look over here on the left, here's another view. Just barely. There was another CME that jumped off today, but it's going right towards the red dot. The red dot is the Stereo Ahead spacecraft. So the CME has came and went. It didn't create any problems. It was just a little bitty guy, a G1 geomagnetic storm, is all it created right there. At the first arrival was 1200 Zulu. Last 3 hours, 4.6788. Nothing to write home about. It really wasn't. I'm getting more pictures from Australia. Guys, I don't know what's going on down there. I've got some of the most bizarre sky pictures I think I've ever seen just in the last couple of weeks from Australia. And here's another one over here at the homepage of the website. Are you serious right now? 5 different people have sent photos from Brisbane. Let me get this right. Brisbane. Chris corrected me on the pronunciation of not Brisbane, Brisbane. So anyway, there's the sky above Brisbane. Are you serious? Another young lady shared photos with me of this unusual sky down in Australia. And I've got some new analysis, not of this, but of something else that was spotted in the sky, also by a gentleman from the New South Wales territory. So we're going to analyze that. I've already analyzed it, but I'm going to share that with you guys in tomorrow's video. It is quite stunning. If it doesn't, at least lean you towards that there's something going on in the skies, I'd be very, very surprised. But there's definitely, there appears to be something going on down above Australia. No doubt about it. Looking at the Sahara sand, just a quick update, guys. The Sahara sand is coming right here. I think what's going on, that potential storm is going to form right in here where there's no sand. Can you believe that? The only place it could form, because it's not going to form back here, it's just not going to happen. You can see the storm up here going into the North Atlantic. No big deal, right? Not a problem. In fact, it's going to weaken when it gets up into the North Atlantic because the waters are cooler. There might be a storm forming right in here. That's where the air is not so, right there. There's a little break in the action. So the air is a little more moist. It's not near as dry right there. So there could spin up a major hurricane if it stays in front of the sand. I've seen that. Hurricane, I believe it was Hurricane Florence did that. It formed right out in front of the wave of dust particulates, and it maintained just enough forward speed that it was outrunning the dust plume. The dust plume was chasing it, couldn't get it. And Florence made landfall in North Carolina, bringing historical rain. So they can form in these pockets where the air clears a little bit, and I think that's what's going to happen. And we could see, I believe, our first major hurricane over here in the Atlantic Basin in less than 2 weeks. And guys, I got you covered. Don't worry, you'll have plenty of heads up. If there's one coming anywhere near the coastline of the U.S., you'll be the first to know. Subscribe to the channel, watch the community section on my YouTube channel. I'll be giving updates in the community section along with video updates every day, sometimes twice a day, all the way up to landfall. And then we will watch it make landfall if and when that ever occurs, and again, this is a forecast, so it may not occur, but it does look like there's the possibility of our first major hurricane, and we will be on it. So make sure you subscribe, and I'll keep you updated. And that way you can decide for yourself. I'll give you the data. You make your own decision whether you want to get out of the way or not. I know when I lived in Florida, that's not always an option for everybody. We had Hurricane Charlie come through, and it was kind of a surprise anyway. It wasn't even supposed to come through the Orlando area. But the second hurricane was forecasted to come through, and it did. But, you know, getting up and leaving, not everybody can do that. You know, go just gallivant off somewhere. Not only is it expensive, but some people have farms, they have animals. They can't just up and leave. But if it's a critical situation, let's say it's a category 5, I highly recommend getting out of the way of that. If you're anywhere near the eye wall and you're on the coast and you could absorb storm surge, yes, you want to get out of the way of that, because it's hard to run from, 10, 12 feet of water. I get it. Some people want to ride them out. I did it by accident because we were caught off guard. Hurricane Charlie wasn't supposed to come to our neck of the woods, but it did. It went right over Orlando as a category 2. So we'll keep you updated. Just make sure you subscribe, and just know I got you covered, guys. No problem. Want to say hi to everybody over here in the chat. What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing today? Having a good day, I hope. We've got earthquakes. We've got possible hurricanes. We've got smoldering lights, flashing updates, just all kinds of stuff going on. I'm working on some brand new things that I want to share with you guys here that I've got scheduled for my next video. I've been working on this since like 6 o'clock this morning. So you guys are in for a treat in the next video. I got some really cool stuff. 2 videos that I've been working on. What's up, Mary Jane, Susan? Hey, guys. Thanks for your support. I really appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by, just hanging out with us. And remember, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want hurricane updates. If you live along the coast of, say, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, click that like button and just know I got you covered. No hurricane's going to sneak up on you. Not as long as I'm watching. It ain't going to happen. What's up, Jay? Magical Matt? Peaceful Warrior in the house. Trina, allergies bad today. You know, a lot of people have been dealing with allergies. And it's not even springtime in the northern hemisphere. I wonder what's blooming. Anybody know what's blooming? I haven't even looked. I suppose I could look, but our allergy. Hello, Lynn McGraw. Polenta. Hey, Polenta. They didn't notify you? I'm sorry, Polenta. I don't have any control over that. I wish I did. I would notify everybody that's subscribed to my channel, but unfortunately, that doesn't happen. People get unsubscribed too. I don't know how that happens, but sorry about that, Polenta. I don't know. You know what I'll do, Polenta? I'll send you a text. How about that? I'll send you a text because Polenta's a member, a patron, and she has the sideline. So Polenta, tomorrow I will send you a text right before I go live. Sound good? You got it. What's up, 831 FPV? Weed be blooming. Okay. There's something blooming. You're right. People are dealing with allergies. The trees are pollinating, right? True. Baltimore County. Did it get hot where you guys are at today? I know it's been there's been a heat wave around the northern hemisphere. It's been hot over in parts of Europe, France, Italy, Japan, China. It's been hot all around the world. You got it, Polenta. My pleasure. I'll notify you. I won't let you down. That's unreal. They should notify everybody. If you subscribe to somebody's channel, you obviously want to watch their content. So, you know, to be quite honest, I don't get notifications either to the ones that I'm subscribed to. Pollen is up. Oh, ragweed. Yeah, right. True. People are allergic to ragweed. A lot of people are. There she blows. Hello, Sharon and Brian. 101 today. Wow, that's hot, Polenta. It got up to around 112 here, I think, today. Let me see what it is right now. I'm just kind of curious myself. I know it was hot. That's all I know. It was just terribly, terribly hot. But it's summertime, right? That's what we signed up for. In the desert. 111. And that's literally right now. at 5:30. Are you serious? 111, 93. And you know what? Had a gentleman say that it was hot up in Payson, up in the rim country. And we looked at that on the weather charts the other day. Actually, we saw that coming a couple of days ago. Temperatures near or at 100 up in the rim country of Arizona. People live in the rim country of Arizona to avoid this crazy summertime heat. And then it made its way up there. Holy mackerel. Yeah, 101, I think, in some places. 71 in Central Oregon. Nice. That's good. They're cooking the streets in China. Nuclear heat dome. You know what? There is a heat dome that sometimes those heat domes become stationary for an extended period of time. 103 for tomorrow, Polenta. Spirited Woman. What's up, everybody? Today is already August 8th, and guess what, guys? It's Friday again. Yes, it's Friday again. You know, it seems like I'd have to look. I posted a comment in the community section about how quick Fridays seem to come. It's just like every time you turn around, it's Friday, it's Friday, it's Friday, it's Friday. And here it is again, you know. And I posted a comment like 5 weeks ago on a Monday, I think. I said, watch how quick Friday gets here. And it just seemed like within a couple of days, time is moving faster. And it was Friday again before you know it. And here we are 5 weeks later, Friday again. Holy cow, time is moving by fast, right? Alexis, Ominous, Star family members, what's up, guys? It's good to see you. Got Star family members in the house. Yes, we do. 110 in Vegas. That's what it was here. Well, it's 111 right now. So yeah, 110, Vegas. Woo! And you know, years ago, the old saying, "Oh, it's a dry heat." That was true. It was. I can remember one of my first experiences out here with this Arizona heat. I was standing on an asphalt parking lot of all things. That's just where I was parked, you know. And I looked over across the street, and there was a outdoor digital thermometer. I think it was, you know, it used to be in front of banks or some business across the street. Had their logo, and then their sign had the temperature, and it said 114. And I'll never forget that because it was my very first time experiencing 110s, and this was like 20 years ago. And I'm like, dang, it's not bad, you know. It didn't feel that bad because back then it was a dry heat. It's not anymore. Whoo! You go outside and that 116 feels like 140. I mean, it's unreal. Star family members in the house today. And we got ragweed on the move. Oh boy. You know, one thing that helps sometimes with me, mainly during the spring, something blooms out here. I think it's it's a certain type of tree out here. It'll you know, you get allergies, and sometimes it'll make your voice raspy and stuff like that. I gargle with like a half a teaspoon of sea salt, warm water, about that much in a cup with sea salt, and you know, it does kind of seem to help. At least me. I know everybody's there. But Tim Huntley in the house. What's up, Tim Huntley? Mr. Huntley, welcome aboard. Thank you, sir. You are a Star family member. You Star family member, you send me something to analyze, you're getting priority. I'll analyze it that day, as long as I get it, if I get the email. And Polenta, I'll give you a shout out tomorrow about 15 minutes before I go live. I can do that, no problem. Hey, Gwendolyn in the house, Star family member. Gwendolyn, Tim Huntley, what's going on, guys? Hey, Trina. I'm gonna get a little snort of water here, guys. Hang on. Sorry about that. Getting a little parched here, and I don't think it's from ragweed, but never know. Alexis Ominous, I've got a theory about time running fast. It also explains double suns. Thank you, Alexis. Double spherical screens around the Earth that create double suns when the light goes. That's interesting, Alexis. Thank you for sharing that. Uh-oh, what was that? eBay notification. These phones, I'm telling you, I like the whole smartphone thing and all that, but wow, they can, when you're trying to do something or whatever, never fails. You'll get it. And I've noticed, thank you, Alexis, it bounces off the two screens. That makes sense, Alexis. You know what? They say, Alexis, truth is stranger than fiction, and you might be right. You very well could be right. That's interesting. Thank you for sharing that with us. I've spent the majority of my adult life. And I'm going to share something personal with you guys, the 1,500 of you that are here. I've spent the majority of my adult life trying to figure out what this is you're looking at right now, how it works, why it does what it does, what would happen to the earth without it, what would happen to the earth with too much of it. I've tried to figure out how Jupiter works and what its function is and what's its job. I've tried to figure out Saturn, and they all have a job. They're all part of this cog of gears that make all this work. They all have a job. Just like we see hurricanes, that show up at the most, inconvenient times and make landfall in densely populated areas. And we don't like to see that, but that's just how all this works, Hurricanes have a job. And I've learned so much over the last 20 years of my life about the sun, the earth, and everything in between, everything that's in the earth. I'm going to share it all with you guys in a book. Yes, in a book. So I'm actually writing it right now. I'm going to share what I've learned with all of you that want to know. And I've learned a lot. I've seen a lot over the years. Things that I didn't ask for. But I need to, share it with you guys. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what we're going to do. The alchemy is listed in the Greek mythology. Thank you, Astral Fugitive. I do try, man. I really do. I have a sincere interest in how all this works. I had to understand how a hurricane worked once I was in one. I'm like, wow, what was that thing? So I learned everything I could learn about a hurricane, everything. And now I can spot them a galaxy away. I know when they're going to form, where they're going to form, usually how strong they're going to be. I've taught myself because I wanted to learn over the years. It matters to me, We share a variety of different things on this YouTube channel. A lot of it is viewer generated. It's what you guys send in to me. A lot of the times that's what we share and talk about. I may be studying a whole entirely different topic that day. But I'll stop what I'm doing and I'll make a video of something that you've seen or sent in for everybody, especially the Star family members. Yes, absolutely I do. Tina Vaco, yay! Thank you, Tina, for the super sticker, the dancing pear. I don't see those very often. That's cool, the dancing pear. Thank you, Alexis. My goal is to have it done by the end of the year. That's my goal. So I've got a ways to go. I'm working on 2. Yes, 2. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, I've never, a lot of this stuff that's going to be in the book I've never shared. But you need to know. I didn't ask for this information. It came to me. You need to know. Trust me, you need to know. So I feel like I don't know. I've just learned so much. And like I said, there's things that you need to know. And it's all good. It's all good. It's nothing nefarious or nothing bad. In fact, it's very positive. It's very positive. You live in a fascinating place. We take it all for granted, We really do. You can stick a little seed in the ground about that big, no bigger than your thumb, and it will turn into a towering 40-foot oak tree, and all you gotta do is put a little bit of this stuff we call water on it and sunlight, and in this soil that's almost magical. The soil's cosmic dust, from the cosmos, but it can turn a little seed into a 40-foot oak tree. What? But we take it all for granted because that's all that we know. It's very fascinating. So that's not going to be in the book, but we're going to talk about things that are very, very cool, I think, are very, very cool. Because all of this stuff, the sun, the earth, the oceans, the molecules, everything's made up of molecules, That stuff matters. It all matters. Everything counts. So they all have a job, and we're going to talk about their jobs, and we're going to talk about the things that I have learned over the years. I'm going to share them with you guys. Thanks again, Tina, for the dancing pairs. I really appreciate that. And guys, that really helps the channel. It really does. Yeah, and even the likes, if you guys like it, I don't ask for you to like the video to win a popularity contest. I'm way beyond that in years, okay? I don't have an ego anyway. It pushes the video out a little further, that's all. It just extends the reach. That's all. The algorithm is detecting the likes. It's supposed to send it out further to more people because it's assuming, well, if it's getting a lot of likes, people must like it, right? So it'll recommend it to more people. That's all. Yeah, I'm not trying to win a popularity contest. I'm too old for that. And I don't have an ego. What's up, guys? What's up, Shara? Yeah, that's right. We can always do better, Shara. We should always strive to be better versions of ourselves. That's right. There's a huge Chinese community in space. Oh, thank you, Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn, I don't know that for a fact. In fact, I've never heard that, but I wouldn't doubt it. Nothing would surprise me. Seriously, nothing surprises me at all. That's very nice, Trina. Eminem, nature is awesome. Yeah, you live in a very fascinating place. You really and truly do. Building a train on the moon to mine helium. Look it up. I will, Gwendolyn. Thank you. Yeah, the moon's another thing. My wife and I were talking about the moon the other night, and I got her, got her thinking outside the box. It's not something she'd normally even considered until I mentioned it. And then she looked at me and she's like, you know what? I'm looking that up. she was like, why is it like that? And I'm like, well, why is it like that? We were talking about an aspect of the moon that's just, it's baffling. How does the moon do what it does? You know what I mean? So it'll all be in the book. Yeah, it'll be in the book. Well, listen, guys, I appreciate you stopping by. I know it's 8:30, 8:46 on the East Coast. Polenta. I know, aren't those cool? Yeah, that's your world, right? There's your world, that your world glows like that from time to time. There's your star. That star and that little globe we call home, they're attached to each other. If they weren't, we wouldn't be here. Trust me, we'd be off wandering rogue somewhere without a star, and our planet would be froze solid, or at least the outer core would be froze solid. So we are here because of this thing you see right there. We are gravitationally bound to that thing. We can't go anywhere as long as it's got fuel. As long as it keeps shedding layers like you just saw right there, how much longer is it going to last? I think it'll last our lifetimes and probably many millions of years down the road. But as you can see by that CME and that right there is another example of the sun basically hurling itself into space. There's another example, a close-up of a sunspot ejecting its own mass, So eventually, it's going to run out of mass. And what it's going to do, eventually, once it starts, the ratios of, as Gwendolyn mentioned, the helium on the moon, once the ratios of the helium and hydrogen on the sun change drastically because of so many solar mass ejections, coronal mass ejections, then the ratios of the hydrogen and helium will become imbalanced. And when they become imbalanced, the sun will swell and it'll get bigger. And as it gets bigger, it will consume more and more of the planets in the solar system. If you look at them as planets, there's where we live. That's our home. But yeah, it'll swell, get bigger. It's a whole thing. All the stars do it. It's the life cycle of a star. Yeah, it's kind of a fascinating field of study. Studied that years ago, took classes on the solar surface and learned what all of it meant. And then I learned from observations over the years, just the whole thing. I'll share it with you guys in the book. Well, listen, guys, I'm going to hop off here because I am going to have a taco for dinner. I'm hungry. It's not Taco Tuesday. It's Taco Friday in our world. So I've got a taco. I can kind of smell the tacos cooking. So I'm going to go eat. I want to thank you guys. August 28th, Uranus-Neptune Pluto triangle will happen. You know, that's something else I've studied, Wade, that you mentioned the planets and the planetary alignments. There is some truth to the planetary alignments. I've researched back 150 years, as far as modern data would take me, and I did find a connection of dots that did line up with Gwendolyn and Alexis, planetary alignments, and certain things that happen on the Earth. Actually, a variety of different things. And one of those things is it triggers seismic zones. It can. It's about this right ascension, and it's a whole thing to do with magnetics, and we're all connected. We wouldn't think so. We're like, wow, you know, Jupiter is 500 million miles away. How are we connected to Jupiter? We are. Believe it, we are. All right, guys, listen, Shara, Bella B, thanks, guys, for hanging out with me. We'll do it again tomorrow, and I've got more fascinating things to share with you guys from the skies of your world. Don't miss the show. Polenta, I'll send you a text tomorrow. If you guys want a text, go over to Patreon. You'll see how to do it. I can send you a text. Got no problem with doing that. But once again, we're watching the possibility of a hurricane forming along the eastern seaboard. This is a long-range forecast. It will change. I guarantee that. How much? We'll have to wait and see. But we're going to watch it every single day between now and the 21st. All right, guys, I'm going to hop off here. Thanks for watching. Have a super day. And as always, be safe out there.